What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today we're doing a continuation of my mini tours of all my different lines within my collection. So today we're going to be checking out my Marvel statues. Now, I only have a few Marvel statues actually here in what I call my theater room. Really just what you see right here. Of course, I would love to have more space for Marvel, but most of my Marvel is dedicated to the room. But I did want to have at least a small Marvel presence in this room, because my goal really was to have DC on one side of the TV, Marvel on the other, with those like matching posters. And I wanted a half scale of each. Now, someday I do hope to get additional Marvel half scales. I would love, I thought about getting a Spiderman half scale, but they're all comic, and I'm not going to do comic related. I'm really more of a movie statue collector. I really try to avoid comic at all cost. But I hear Queen's making a half scale Captain. If they made a half scale Thor, I'd definitely buy them, remove those busts and do a Trinity on each side. That'd be like my ultimate dream, to have that. But to start, really, we have this Iron Studios 1/10 scale line. And so this is part of their Infinity War and Endgame line. So I got a backdrop in here, and I've basically posed them all like they're attacking Thanos at the Titan scene. The Spider-Man's actually from Homecoming, not Endgame, because he's not in his Iron Spidey suit, but I like that Spider-Man much more. And then here we're doing a Black Order with the Snap. So I'm waiting on the additional Black Order members, but we got Thanos and Iron Man with a backdrop. Then we're also doing Vormir, just waiting on Red Skull. So that's basically the 1/10 scales. I do like these. They're quite detailed. They look really good. They give you characters you normally would never get in a 1/4. And I love Infinity War and Endgame. It's two of my favorite absolute favorite movies. And so I wanted to recreate that. Then we come over here to some bigger scaled. We got the Iron Man half scale. This is the Mark 7 by Sideshow. I believe it's their best half scale they've ever done. Now, Queen Studios is doing the half scale Iron Mans as well. They got a Mark, I believe it was the Mark 50 or Mark 85 and the Mark 7. I really like their Mark 7, but it has its arm posed forward. And if you could imagine this arm forward, it'd be sticking out to about right there, which is in the walkway. And so unfortunately I couldn't get that. I could consider the Mark like 85, but I really want to stick to the Mark 7 for my half scale, just because the Mark 7 is my favorite suit. Avengers 1 was really what made me fall in love with Marvel. I liked Marvel movies prior to Avengers. I really enjoyed them all, but Avengers 1 is really just like game changer for me. So I bought this Iron Man half scale on the secondary market for about $1,500. It's not flawless, but it's an amazing statue. It does have a light up feature like so. Seems all the lights are working right now. Sometimes that back foot doesn't work, but I did add a little custom arc reactor, just because this one does not come with a detailed arc reactor, which I really don't like how Sideshow lacks that, especially on a half scale. Nevertheless, I do like this half scale quite a bit still, and it fits really good here. So I have thought of getting a Queen, but ultimately I probably will never do that, just because they're so big. Their bases are also twice as big as that. Then I also have this little Mark 50 arc reactor as well, just a detailed arc reactor. If you'll notice as well, I like to get these metal plaques made. I think it just complements the statue quite a bit. Then we have Hugh Jackman Wolverine. So this is a custom. We also got the X-Men Adamantium collection with the claw and a little custom bust as well. So I love X-Men movies, so does the wife. I've always wanted movie versions, and it's always been comic out there, which has really annoyed me, because I never grew up with the comics. I tried watching the TV animated series, and I just didn't like it. So I just don't care for the comic look. For the most part, but I love the movies. And so I'm real happy with this Hugh Jackman 1/4. I previously had a Logan 1/3, but I was very unhappy with that, and I sold that, thank goodness. But this one I'm very happy with. I think it has fantastic likeness. It's from the Wolverine movie, which is Hugh's best movie in my opinion, that and Logan. But I'm a huge fan of that piece. The custom bust is good enough for how much it cost. Then we have my little setup of Deadpool Venom. So the way I actually do this, if you'll notice, I have posters back there of Deadpool and underneath Venom, and then Venom also has a little Spider-Man there. And I did the exact same thing here. So this is made by Sideshow Collectibles, 1-to-1 life-size bus. And I like them both quite a bit, although Venom I do like substantially more. And one thing as well with my bus I like to do is add prop replicas or something to help companion it. You know, like Venom, I got this little spider, this tube at the maximum effort, these plaques, the movies, and I really like the look of that. And these are two great companion pieces. You know, they have the same base, they're the same scale, and I think they look fantastic together. I like displaying all my bus in companions with either a 1/4 or an additional bus, and generally an additional bus as well. I think bus come best in pairs. And then also with their companion 1/4 or 1/3. Underneath Venom, we have the Amazing Spider-Man by Sideshow Collectibles. Their premium format, the newer one they made several years ago. This is a phenomenal piece, super dynamic, looks incredible. I got the exclusive portrait on just because all my other Spider-Mans aren't, you know, changing his eye expression. So this one I just keep the exclusive. Then right here we have a custom Deadpool. So this is a movie version, the Ryan Reynolds. And this is an absolutely phenomenal piece. It looks just like he came out of the movie. So really, really fantastic piece. Tons of switch outs. Big fan of that Deadpool. So these two pieces both look fantastic companions to the bus. So big fan of how that looks. So that's really Marvel for this area. There's nothing really else unless you wanted to count my Blade. But I really consider Blade more of my horror setup, even though technically it's Marvel. But the rest of my Marvel pieces are really in this room right here. So I've dedicated about 60-70% of this room to Marvel collectibles. So yeah, it starts really right here. We'll just give you a quick pan around. And it really ends at that door. So I do have a vision on how I want this to look. And I have everything set up in themes, scales, and everything. And really we'll start right here. So what I was going for right here was battle dioramas. So we have Avengers 1, Avengers 2, and then Endgame. Then another room is where we have the Infinity War. You know, where I'm recreating these epic giant battles. And this is done all by Iron Studios. So this is their first one they ever did in 1/6 scale. The Black Widow and Hawkeye are not part of this line. They're from the second movie, but I wanted to add them, so I just did. Loki and the back commander is Hot Toys. Now, generally, I am an avid non-Hot Toy collector. I hate Hot Toys. But I wanted to add Loki to this collection, plus an additional commander by himself. So Hot Toys was the way to go. And then I got this backdrop and ground drop printed by 12-inch prints or whatever, I forget the guy's name. I've had these pieces for like 4.5, 5 years, and I still absolutely love them. It's something I never want to part with. Huge fan of how I got this going. I just think it looks freaking awesome. Like I said, Avengers is really what got me to love Marvel. And this is just an awesome recreation of everything. You know, you got Captain hitting him in the face, Thor and Hulk, and got Thor attacking Loki, Iron Man, Hawkeye. Freaking awesome. Just love it. And this is all 1/6 scale. Generally, I don't like mixing lines, you know, like having 1/6 and then 1/4. But because this is a giant battle diorama, I'll accept it. And then here we got our Age of Ultron. So Hulkbuster versus Hulk. And then I just had a vision there in the back. So that vision's extremely well done. And originally I had him set up somewhere else, but then I had to move that and change things. So I just have him there as like a background. But he's still a really good vision piece. This Hulkbuster is absolutely monstrous. You know, you can see next to a 1/4 scale. It's very big. It's about 29 inches tall, weighs about 100 pounds, has a light up feature, and just one of the best paint jobs I've seen on a 1/6 scale for sure. Really, really incredible piece. I would prefer to place it up high because I think it would look better due to the pose, but it just weighs so freaking heavy. I would never consider it on any of these shelves. So it has to be a bottom shelf, or it'd have to do like a top Stuva. But overall, I'm a huge fan of this Hulkbuster and Hulk. Very, very nice pieces. Next, we have the Endgame. So this is still a work in progress. I'm waiting on one piece, and then eventually I will print a ground drop and a backdrop. So waiting on that final piece, and then I'll get everything printed and done. I really should do it now. I've just been lazy. I really need to find a high quality image that will fit and that is different from my Children of Thanos one. So again, I do have videos of every one of these, unboxing, reviews. I just barely got this Iron Man, and I'm a big fan of that one actually. I think it's one of the best ones here. I think Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange are the best good guys, and then Thanos, best villain of course, because I only have 3 villains in there currently. But this line, as you can see, takes quite a bit of space, but you have every single Marvel character pretty much. So, and they're all extremely detailed and good paint job. They look fantastic together. I would love to have more space to spread it out a little bit more, but it is what it is. This is the space I got, and it still works, and you know, they're in war. Next, we have the XM Ghostwriter Recast, one of the few remaining recast in my collection. Eventually, I'll probably get rid of this and buy the original or just forego Ghostwriter. But for a recast, this is actually extremely well done and does look awesome here. It's very, very heavy and does look very, very cool. Then we come to my X-Men setup. So this is all I have for X-Men in this room, really. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the comic versions, although it got the characters I really like. So we got the Deadpool by Sideshow Collectibles, and I actually love this piece. This is probably my favorite piece here in my X-Men line. I love the explosion base, the dynamic pose. I still like my movie version better, but this one is still an absolutely fantastic looking piece. Then we have Cable. I loved Cable in Deadpool 2. I thought he did a fantastic job. Josh Brolin just killed it. And this statue is actually really amazing. I love the whole design of it coming through the portal, the little Deadpool hand, and it's a great companion piece to this Deadpool. And then we have just this little setup here. So I got this Wolverine. You know, for a comic version, this is absolutely fantastic. I think it's the best comic Wolverine out there. I love the simplicity and the design and the overall look. This is the exclusive head. I do not like the masked portrait at all. I don't like masked portraits for Wolverine. I think it just looks very, very lame. So I do this portrait exclusively. And then we have the green version of the Phoenix. So that was like a limited run. I do like Phoenix quite a bit. And then Magneto. He's my favorite in this cube. I love Magneto, and that statue looks freaking awesome. And I'm super glad it doesn't have that whole diaper look. So that is one thing I absolutely cannot stand with comic statues, is the diaper look. Oh, I hate that. So I'm super glad Sideshow made a more modernized, non-diaper look. And then Mystique is a great companion piece. I liked her in the first original 3 movies. Hated her in the newer movies. I cannot stand that actress right there. Freaking what's her bucket? Gosh, I thought she did a horrible job as Mystique. Even though she's hot, I just hate her acting. Even in Hunger Games, she's terrible. But this Mystique statue is awesome. And I loved Mystique from the first original 3 movies. She was way cooler, way better at fighting, and just awesome. Up here we have a little Infinity Gauntlet, a little 1/10 Ghostwriter, custom Groot, a life-size Loki staff, and then a little Phase 1 Avengers case. So that's basically this setup. And then everything here to the left, the way I have this, so I got here the Spiderman Sinister Six. Now, originally I had Miles Morales actually in there, but I've decided to just forego Miles and just keep it a little bit cleaner. And I'm just going to sell Miles. Although if I can't sell them for what I want, I'll just put them back. But I'm showing this to you now. So we have Sideshow's Green Goblin. I absolutely love this piece. And then Venom and Carnage by Sideshow, both absolutely fantastic. Love these pieces. We have Sandman, Lizard, Finch, and those are all by XM Studios, 1/4 scale, and then Iron Studios Spider-Man. So I really like the way I did this. Have my own Sinister Six of some of my more favorite villains. They all look great. They have sufficient space. It just looks awesome. One thing as well I do with all my XM, if you'll see it at the posters, all right there, aligned on every single one of them, because all my XMs are all on bottom shelf because they're very, very heavy, and they all look good down low. So as you can see, I got 6 XM Studios statues in a row. But yeah, basically the Sinister Six is right here. Next we have my little Netflix Daredevil, freaking Punisher, and Iron Fist setup. So I was a huge fan of the Daredevil, Punisher, Iron Fist series. I love them all. And so I had to collect these. The top 2 are by Sideshow. Sideshow did a fantastic job on these. They look really good together. And then the bottom is Iron Fist. So I know Iron Fist from the Amazing Spider-Man TV series, and then of course his own TV series. And his own TV series, the Iron Fist TV series, is where I grew to really enjoy and like that character a lot. So this setup is just like that, and then that. And then from here to the left is a separate, basically just Avengers. Everyone gets their own cube. Let's look up top though. Up top you have the Iron Studios Civil War setup. So this is one setup of its own. You got on the right Captain's side with Captain, Bucky, and Falcon. Now these are some of the best 1/4 scale Marvel's movie statues you can absolutely buy, in my opinion. I think they absolutely killed it. I think in general Iron Studios is the best when it comes to movie Marvel. They're my favorite, hands down. They're also very expensive, but they just do a fantastic job on the skin and likeness. You can see that looks just like Captain, looks just like Falcon and Bucky. So this is quite a bit of space because of Falcon's wingspan, so I have it angled like that going into where that PAX area is. But I'm a huge fan of these pieces. They're some of my absolute favorites. You know, if I was to sell most of my pieces in this room, like for Marvel, this is the one set I would never sell. I'm just a big fan of it. Next we have the Queen Studios Trio Bust. So this is a set of that I've done of just the Trio Bust. Now, these are not without their flaws. If you look at each bust individually, they look perfect and amazing. When you put them together, you realize Spider-Man's too big, Black Panther's too small. So I wish Queen Studios would have did a better job on scaling their busts so they all looked the same. You know, it's like, look how big Spider-Man's head is compared to Black Panther. You think a 15-year-old kid's gonna have a much bigger head than Black Panther? They're both wearing helmets. Queen claims that they're all correct, but I call BS on that. But I still absolutely love these busts. I think they're phenomenal. You know, Black Panther, and the way I've displayed this is bust next to 1/4, movie prop. Bust prop movie, bust prop 1/4 movie. I love doing that. I think it looks awesome. Plus I have the posters. So, you know, the Black Panther, you can see Black Panther in that poster. He's kind of hidden. Captain Marvel right there, and there, Spider-Man is right there. So, big fan of how I did these Queen Trinity busts. I think they look phenomenal. My favorite is Captain Marvel. I think she looks just the best, and she looks perfect. She does have that silicone skin, which looks so realistic, and they did a fantastic job on that bust. Next is the Iron Studios 1/4 Endgame line. So you have Thor, Captain. Now I'm doing this setup all unmasked because all my other Captains and Iron Mans and Spider-Mans are all masked. I'm doing this all unmasked. So, of course, Thor doesn't wear a mask, but I do him with his Stormbreaker just because the other Thor I have is holding the Mjolnir. So I'm never going to display him holding the Mjolnir. That's going to stay on Captain, either on the base or in his hand. I've seen some other people do this where they do the Mjolnir, they're holding the helmet unmasked, and I think that looks really good, to be honest. So I'm going to display it like this for probably a very, very long time. Previously, I was displaying just masked holding the hammer. And then Spider-Man, we're doing the unmasked portrait, which still looks absolutely fantastic. Although, in general, I do prefer Spider-Man masked, but I do want to see Tom Holland's face because he is my favorite Spider-Man. And then here's the Miles Morales. Like I said, I'm selling this, just trying to clean up the display and get extra statue money for other statues. We're still waiting on Iron Man from Endgame. It's actually in stock and shipping right now from Sideshow. Unfortunately, I did pre-order through that retailer that takes 6+ months to ship a statue once it's in stock, so it could be a very long time before I get that statue, unfortunately. I tried to cancel my pre-orders. He absolutely refused. And so I don't know when I'll get that Iron Man, unfortunately. So I'll probably be the last person in the world to get it, if I get it. So we'll see. It's extremely frustrating, that retailer. Beyond frustrating. It causes all my stress and anxiety in life. Then we have the Thanos. So he is one of my favorite, probably the favorite 1/4 Marvel statue. This piece is absolutely phenomenal. Tons of switch outs, monstrously huge, incredible paint job. You know, just an absolute beast. So I love him. Then we have this Hulk. This is one I'm selling, although I think I need to find a new buyer because my buyer has basically flaked on me. It doesn't respond to messages. So I'll probably have to relist that if anyone's interested on that, or Miles message me. Then we have the Queen Thanos bust. I would say this is my favorite piece in this room. It's a near perfect piece outside of, obviously, you know, I'm not a fan of the skin tone being too dark. Outside of the skin tone, though, and the eyes being a little cheap looking, I think it's a perfect piece. The base is one of my absolute favorite bases for a bust. I think they killed it on the concept and the overall look. The armor is perfect. I love the weathering, the gold, the look. The helmet is perfect. I love the design and the look of everything. Since I glossed up the teeth, they look much, much better. The skin texture and likeness is fantastic. The eyes are good, but not like perfect. You know, they're probably like an 8 out of 10 for glass size. They're not 10 out of 10 like my Pennywise or Khaleesi bust. And then obviously the skin tone's too dark. I'm just a bigger fan of the lighter skin tone, but nevertheless, it's still a grail for me and my favorite piece in this room. And it's monstrously huge, as you can see, and it weighs a ton. And then we have over here, really just the first 3 Avenger villains. We got Loki, Ultron, and Thanos. So Thanos from Iron Studios, fantastic piece. This has the best teeth I've seen on a 1/4 scale statue, just freaking so good. And this piece is really perfect in my opinion. I have no qualms with this. The gauntlet looks perfect, the skin tone's perfect, the texture and paint's perfect. I love the pose and base. It's a perfect piece. I love it. Then we have Ultron. So this is, let me see if the light up still works or if I need to recharge this. Where the frick's that battery? There we go. This actually has a motion sensor light up, so if you walk by it lights up, and it's a rechargeable battery. This is by King Arts. You rarely see this statue in people's collections. I swear I've only seen it in mine, but I love this piece. It's freaking huge. It's 28 inches tall. Awesome light up feature, great pose base detail. Freaking love it. Very, very cool. It's the only Ultron statue I've ever seen out there in a larger scale. That's movie version. You know, the thing's 28 inches tall, so it's huge. So I'm very, very happy I got this piece because I always wanted all the Avenger villains in 1/4. So I'm super happy I got that. Then we have Loki. This is by Sideshow. The Tesseract he's holding is a custom. I always felt it needed to hold something because it had an empty hand, and the Tesseract just fits so perfect. So I love this Loki, though. I mean, granted, I feel like the face could be better. You know, it feels like Iron Studios detail, but everything else is perfect. I love this piece. And then we come to my little Infinity War prop setup. We also got this Avengers poster. If you notice, I got posters behind everything. But we got the Hot Toys gauntlet, and then some different Infinity props. Those 3 are customs, and then the Tesseract is also by King Arts. So I actually really like this display and how I did this, because I always struggled on what to put on this right here, but I feel like I've really settled on that. So that's everything on the top shelf. Everything remaining is just inside the stuvas. Like I said, this is all just a single Avenger with their props, movies, and different things like that. We start with my Hulk. This will be my only 1/4 Hulk I'll keep once I sell that one. I've decided I just prefer this one. I think it looks better. This is one that has to be seen in person to appreciate it better, because when you see it in pictures, the pose looks kind of funky. But when you see it in person, you're like, whoa, that actually is awesome. He's lunging, attacking with incredible paint and detail and sculpt. So I'm a big fan of that. Then we have the XM Hawkeye. I bought this more or less just because I want a Hawkeye 1/4, and we're never going to get a movie version, unfortunately. Unless Iron Studios eventually does. If they do, I'd sell this instantly and get the movie version. We have the XM Doctor Strange. I contemplated between this and Sideshow. This was actually slightly cheaper than Sideshow. It came with the book. It was a unique pose, and it's easier to display, so I decided to get this one instead. And I do not regret my decision. I still think I chose the correct, path. Then we have the 1/4 Vision. This is the only 1/4 Vision movie statue out there. It's a fantastic piece by King Arts. Very big. Also has a light up that's motion detected, rechargeable battery. But this is an absolutely fantastic piece. I love this one. Very, very cool. Very, very happy I got it. I also put little Ant-Mans on each side just because his base doesn't cover the entire thing. There's not a lot of props you can do for Vision, so I just put Ant-Man in there. Now we're waiting on the Iron Studios Spider-Man Far From Home. I believe it should be shipping any day now because it just went in stock to Iron Studios yesterday. Then we have Groot and Rocket with a Star-Lord helmet, Baby Groot, and Potted Groot. This is by Gentle Giant. I feel like it's a little underscale because Groot's supposed to be huge, but they also went with those lame bases. So I put basically I had an extra version of that, and I cut it to fit the base, so at least it wasn't a plain glass base. And I think that helps substantially, to be honest. So I'm very happy I did that. Next, we have my original Avengers. So I really like the way I've done this. So first you got the Gentle Giant Black Widow on a custom base with a custom 1 to 1.5 scale Scarlet bust. This bust is 100% likeness to Scarlett Johansson. And it's an absolutely fantastic piece. Both of these are actually perfect likeness to Scarlett because this is a 3D scan of her, and whoever sculpted that, just an amazing sculptor. We also have some props back there. Those are more or less cosplay props, but I still wanted props from Black Widow. Then you have Thor Dark World. Quite a bit going on here. So in the back we got Hela 1/10, just because I love Hela. Life-size Mjolnir. Thor Dark World with that prop right there. And I had 2 of them, so I put the other one in the back. I actually really, really like this Thor piece. I know some people don't, but I love it. I think it's amazing likeness, amazing base and pose. I think it's a little too dark skin tone-wise. Otherwise, I love that piece. Then we have Captain from Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is probably my 4th favorite Marvel movie. I think it's a freaking near perfect movie. I love it. And so I wanted to have a representation of that movie. And I bought the Gentle Giant version of Captain. Wasn't a big fan. It was too small. And I thought about getting King Arts. And then I ultimately decided to get Sideshow. Now, Sideshow's likeness is horrible. It is 0 out of 10. But the concept pose is freaking 10 out of 10. I freaking love that base. I love the pose. I put it next to a King Arts helmet. So I still absolutely love this piece. I just wish the face was an Iron Studios face. But the pose is amazing, and it's the stealth costume, which I really like. I love that intro scene on the boat. So sick. Then we have the Mark III. This is what started it all for Iron Man. The original costume at the end of Iron Man 3. I thought about getting the Mark 7 by Sideshow, but I still think I prefer this one, to be honest. Plus, I don't have a Mark 3, and so I still wanted to have one. I did put it next to this arc reactor, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. That's by King Arts. This is the exclusive version, and I did display this specifically next to Thanos because I wanted to have Iron Man next to Thanos. You know, I'm doing the same here. Queen bust and Iron Man all next to Thanos. You know, and then to the left is really just my villains comic single section, if you would call it. We have Doctor Doom and Red Skull with a little custom Tesseract display. Those are both by Sideshow. They both look together very cool. You know, I love Doctor Doom and Red Skull. So two of my more favorite Marvel villains, I would say. Love to get a movie Hella version. I'd love that. And then let's end it with Sideshow Thanos on Throne exclusive. The exclusive is the only way to go on this statue. I don't care for any custom portraits or regular. Exclusive or fail for me. But everyone knows this is a grail. Even non-statue collectors who come to my house and see this are like, holy shiz, that's an amazing statue. So absolute grail, no doubt. So I'm very happy to have that. But, you know, like I said, yeah, I'm just waiting on a few additional Marvel pieces, some 1/10 scales, a few 1/4 and busts. Hoping for a life-size Black Widow if we ever get it. I doubt it. But I do know Queen's making a half-scale Captain America, likely a Thor. If they do, I'll get it. As long as I can fit it in the display over there if I was to move or sell those busts and change those displays out for bestas. But I love Marvel. Eventually, you know, if I ever downsize my collection, I would probably get rid of everything right there and only keep this. And probably keep that. Otherwise, I would probably sell it all if I ever had to truly downsize my collection. I think I would sell everything inside the Stuvas and only keep Iron Studios and top shelf stuff. But that is it, folks. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. I feel like I have created one of the best Marvel movie statue collections out there. I've really tried to get everything I can movie-wise that looks good. So only probably one piece I don't have that I would like to own is the 1/4 Imaginary Marks Hulkbuster. Now, there is, granted, I've had opportunities to buy it, and I really thought about buying it, but there's reasons I haven't. One, I got that one, and I love that one. It's freaking amazing. Two, it's freaking monstrously big, and it would take up as much space as 3 statues. So I just don't know if I want to sacrifice an entire top shelf Stuva for one statue. As you can see, I don't know what I'd sacrifice up here that would, you know, be good enough to sacrifice for another Hulkbuster, because I already got my 1/6 version. I don't know, maybe someday I'll get it. Anyways, that is it. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.